If we're calling housewives, we don't like pumpkins. It's Alexis and Johnny J for me. They're the pumpkins. They are pumpkins.
She's the pumpkin and he's the puree. Let's talk about it. Let's get into OC. I mean, not a lot going on. It's the continuation of storylines, but it is interesting to see things roll out that we've already seen, because we were a part of the craze of the red carpet moment where they made their debut, and that was at an Oscars party. So that means that was March when that happened. Yeah, Oscars is in March. So that's 6 months ago that we were first like, whoa. And not only was he with Alexis, but that he was on a red carpet showing it off. What we did not take note of were the Ferragamo shoes. Yes. That did not catch our eye. So now we're getting more information.
Yes. And I you know what? I'm with Shannon here. I'm riding for Shannon this season. I'm riding hard. I would also be upset if you're suing me for $75,000 and still wearing the shoes that I bought you. That's a no for me. And I will be zooming in and checking to see exactly everything that you're wearing and taking inventory of. You wore the belt that I bought you. You wore the tie that I bought you. You bought the shoes. You wore the shoes that I bought you. And I would be angry about it. Yes, I would be. If you're suing me for $75,000 and you still have the audacity to wear the shoes I bought you, no, sir.
In the words of Heather Dubrow, they're not that expensive. They're only $375 to $400 something. That is the Heather I love. Remember,
it was so genuine.
I want to feel poor.
It was so genuine.
She is so detached. I want to feel poor when I watch these shows, and I love that Heather makes me feel that way every single time. But I'm not that I'm Team Johnny J. But let me tell you something. Sadly, I'm not in a situation where my significant other bought me all this shit, so I can't floss. But you better believe if he had, I would be wearing my shirt, shoes, jewelry, purses. Oh, you're going to see me flaunt in this stuff.
Flaunt all you want. Just don't sue me for $75,000 while it's flaunting for all the things that I bought you.
But what is he supposed to do? According to Shannon, she paid for everything for the first 2 years. Is he supposed to sell it? Is he supposed to?
No.
I mean,
if he could wear it, just don't sue her. Like, don't ask her for money when you're wearing the gifts that she bought. Yeah, like if he didn't sue her, I wouldn't have an issue with him wearing the stuff. But the fact that he's suing her and then still wearing all the quote unquote expensive, because it's not expensive to Heather Dubrow, things that she bought him is like so foul to me. It's just gross. I mean, he's foul in general. I don't understand his logic in any of this. Trying to clear his name and be a good man and suing, like it's crazy. This backfired completely.
Totally backfired. But I think he and Alexis live in their own bubble where they don't get it. It's wild to see somebody it's wild to see somebody convince themselves of a truth that is so not true. Mm-hmm. And it's gotta be named something. It's clearly psychological, but to lie so much to yourself that you believe your own shit and then you act on it it's psychotic. Mm-hmm. But it's like a watered down version of being psychotic. But that's what we're watching Johnny J and Alexis do. I mean, it's like nothing can get through and burst that bubble of this fake reality that they've created for themselves. And it's to the point where she can't find any empathy for Shannon, which is why I love in this part of the episode where you see Emily talking about like, how as a woman are you not understanding that she's going through? How do you not feel sorry for her? Of course, I'm not a Shannon apologist, but of course she's made mistakes. We all have. We don't do things the right way. And she was under the influence during a lot of it, which she admits. But how do you not say, maybe we shouldn't? Maybe we should just we can let this one go. We've found each other. It's giving petty. It's giving vindictive, revenge. It's a little bitchy.
It's very bitchy. And it's also, to your point, it's like they're in a state of delulu because, and on the other hand, she's still saying she wants to move forward and move on from the drama with Shannon, but like not realizing that she's throwing out accusations of a video being out there and her boyfriend is suing her. And it's like, how can one move forward with you? And like when you're doing all of these things, like make it make sense. She's nutso. They both are. And I do also, yes, the point with Emily saying, how do you not have empathy? Because I feel like her and Jim Bellino had a not so great divorce as well. So like, wouldn't you place yourself in someone else's shoes? And it did seem like she did have some reason with John when she told him that he should just take the settlement and move on, the counter that Shannon gave him. But then he said no. Like, and for me, that would be a red flag in my head of dating a man that is so vindictive. And after, that would be a turnoff. But for her, I guess it turned her on, leaned her in even more. It's gross. It's gross.
Yeah, it is. And I had a thought today as I constantly thinking about Housewives. I wonder what Alexis got in her split with Jim Bellino. And I wonder if Johnny J knows that and is after some of her money too. I mean, the man's a grifter. But it made me think, obviously she's pretty, so we know he's into that. But I thought, I wonder if
that makes sense.
He knows that she's got some money and he wants to be aligned with that. Well, we know he doesn't have a house, and so he's got to have somewhere to stay when he wants to get off that boat. Putt.
His putt. Yeah. That's an interesting point. I do wonder if there's an ulterior motive there. But we also know now, I listened to Sheena's podcast. Shannon was on a couple weeks ago, and she did offer the full $75,000. And I think he denied it because he didn't want to sign the non-disparaging clause in the contract.
Damn.
So again, it wasn't about the money. It's about slandering Shannon. So I don't know.
This man is, I feel bad for Shannon. Because there comes a level.
You guys, there is pain on her face. She does not want to say this. She is hurt by the sentences that just uttered out of her mouth.
When you have somebody who so solely is motivated by taking you down, that alone is hurtful and hard to get past. And then you're also like, this person that I thought, hey, we're going to have this, lifetime together and we're planning a future together, turns on you in a way that you're not familiar with. But then the other part that you don't talk about enough is you start to feel stupid. You start to question yourself and say, like, am I dumb? Because I couldn't see it?
How did I not see this?
Am I... like, how did I allow this to happen to me? And you have this guilt, you have this shame. And the reason I closed my eyes, as I was closing my eyes and I paused, because I feel that for Shannon, and I feel sorry for her because I know she's equally processing those emotions as well. So, I mean, she better wipe her tears with whatever paycheck Bravo was giving her this season. I hope it's worth it.
Yeah, I do.
So.
I mean, she definitely needs it considering all the lawsuits and stuff she's been going through. But I do. It is crazy because it does seem like for John, he did a 180. We talked about the red carpet debut, which I love Gina pointing out, like, how silly is that? Jim Bellino or Johnny J and Alexis getting a red carpet debut. That sounds so dumb. But Shannon saying, like, he never wanted to be on the limelight. Like, that was not what he wanted when he was with me. And then a complete 180. He's in the limelight with Alexis. And it's like, yeah, who is this person? Who is this man that says you slandered his reputation so poorly around town, but is doing things to make his reputation horrible around town. It's not adding up to me. And again, they kind of did a flashback of it where, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember Shannon blatantly, at least on the show, saying negative things about John. Last season, she was telling the women things off camera about John and like a rage and fit and venting, but she never went on camera. It was always the women that brought it on. So for him to be like, Shannon is talking about me, or public, like she like as any woman would do when she vents about her spouse, tells her friends. But those friends then brought it to the cameras. So for him to be upset with Shannon about it is kind of like he should be upset with the entire operation and not just Shannon. So to come back to the entire operation through Alexis is like bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like it was, they brought it up, but she didn't deny really, and kind of just like let the rumors.
And she did the thing that Alexis is doing of like, there's a video and not saying what's on the video. And Shannon was like, you don't know what he's done to me. So we assume the worst. But I mean, she didn't give specifics. I'll just say that.
Right. She didn't. And for a while she didn't, she held off on it. So she tried to protect her relationship, as most people do. Yeah. I mean, so then at the end of this episode, we find out like Shannon, like, geez, like the hits just keep coming for her. I really hope in real time she's doing okay. But Shannon finds out about the video because Gina, who, I mean, as time goes on, it's like, this was an easy slip to not make. I mean, maybe Tamara keeps alluding that Katie was set up by Gina, and there have been issues with Gina and other women. I'm starting to see it. Maybe we've been a little bit too nice on Gina, because her be like, well, yeah, in the video, what? Yeah, I can see if you were drinking.
It did seem like a genuine slip. But I will say too, I'm kind of glad that she did, because I'm curious how long this information would have festered amongst the group until it got to Shannon. Like, would it have been before it was too late? So I'm glad it came from a friend, because if it would have came from Alexis, it might have stung a little worse. But honestly, like, that scene was pretty funny, and like it did seem like a genuine slip, because the way that Katie, Emily, and Gina were like looking at each other like, who's gonna say it, was hilarious. And the backdrop of being in a spa where we're serene and we're smelling scents and we're about to get massages and like,
right. Not quite.
Have been
not
better.
Quite what's happening here.
No.
And of course, like, we see Shannon just completely lose it, and rightfully so, and like doesn't know and what to do. And she ends with going to Heather, and she's not going to dinner, but she's telling Heather, which this didn't have the big effect that I think Shannon thought it would. But Shannon reveals to Heather, she's like, I need to tell you something. And, we know that she was driving away from Johnny J the night that she ran into that building. And she said, she claims that Johnny J has been saying that he did not know that Shannon had crashed right after leaving his place. But Shannon reveals that in her drunkenness, and she didn't even realize it till she went back and looked at her text messages of that night, that she had sent Johnny J a picture of her face right after the accident, and it's just bloody. I mean, she's really lucky. Well, obviously that she didn't hurt anybody, but also that she really didn't do more damage to herself. Yeah. And she reveals to Heather that she sent him this bloody selfie right after the crash, and he didn't say a thing. So, there's a lot of assumptions that come with this. He could have gone to sleep. He could have just seen an alert from Shannon and was like, I'm not answering that, like frustrated over how, again, I'm not trying to take up for him. I'm just would like to put in space that she just made this accusation. Johnny J could easily go on social media today and be like, I didn't see the phone. I saw it was Shannon. I was disgusted with her behavior for that night. I said, I'll deal with everything in the morning. There's a lot of room here to cover it up. But he may have seen it and been like, period.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is I guess he did respond. She didn't explain the timeline, but he did respond at some point saying, why is Archie here? What happened or whatever. And then it sounds like, and I think if I remember correctly, the accident wasn't it was within his neighborhood. So he could have heard the accident. And I don't know about you. I live in LA. I live near a busy intersection. Every time I hear a little car accident, my head's peeking through the blinds. I'm seeing what happened. So if this was near his home enough to where he could hear it, you're not going to go outside and see a car hit a home. You're going to hear that. And then I think when you see a photo like that of someone, yes, who you just got in an argument with, you're probably over. Wouldn't you pick up the phone and call them? Wouldn't you, are you okay?
Well, he didn't give a fuck about it.
I get, but
especially because he knew she was driving away. Yeah, he didn't care about her. We know that.
Yeah, obviously, but I just, and maybe I'm not too surprised by it. The photo, to me though, the photo would have jarred me enough to have reached out to this person to see how they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, we know he ain't shit.
No.
Before we move on to Dubai, I just would like to say, every single time we talk about this crash, we always forget about the real victim, and that's Archie. That's Archie. Archie has got to be traumatized, witnessing the fights between Johnny J and Shannon, being in that wreck. The man, he has to be traumatized. So in all of this, let's please not forget Archie. Let's please.
It's all about the man Arch. He's a cute pup.
Yes, he's really cute. Mm-hmm. Moving on to Dubai. Chelsea's going to cover Dubai this week. For the season finale, we are here. And I really just, we don't need to spend a crazy amount of time because it's the same arguments, on the whole episode, I feel like. And please interject if you feel differently, Chelsea. But it's the same arguments, but it's all been building up to what happened between Lesa Milan and Chanel Ion as to what was the breakdown of their friendship. We know they're not friends in real life to this day. We know it was building up, and we finally get to it in the last minutes of this show. And it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It is the most wild reason to not be friends, which means that it's something deeper, right?
Yeah.
But I'm so disappointed in Chanel Ion. If I'm picking sides, she let the women get to her. So I don't disagree that Lesa. Yeah, I don't. I think she's easily influenced because she wants people to just get along and, for everybody things to be fun and light. And that's not Lesa. Lesa is a pessimist. She's not an optimist. She's not. And she's a little bit of a downer. And I do believe that she is a tad controlling when it comes to how Chanel moves. I agree with that. But you know that well. Chanel. That's a part of her character that you accept as her friend. You've been friends long enough. Y'all are friends in real life outside of all this. Chelsea, you have friends that I'm sure you're like, this is so annoying about her, but I've just agreed to accept it because I love her and I want her in my life. And you just know how to deal with it.
You take the good with the bad.
That to me seems to be the dynamic.
Yeah.
And the way Chanel was so wait, that's what you guys think about me? And I'm like, Chanel, did you not watch season 1? In season 1 and at the reunion, they constantly talked about the control Lesa had over you. They constantly talked about you being a puppet. I don't know if they said she was different, but I'm pretty sure, maybe they did it this season, but I thought last season they discussed this as well. And maybe I'm conflating the two seasons. But it's not, if nothing else, the public said it. It's not a secret.
It's not nothing new.
For you to be shocked. Yeah, for you to be shocked and to say, well, wait, what? It's almost like she was looking for a scapegoat to really act on maybe some other feelings that she had been harboring from within. It wasn't, it made me upset that these close friends, this is what it came down. Even Caroline was like, I can't believe it came down to the word bragging.
Yes, it was. So I was actually really curious to hear what your perspective was on this, because in the beginning of the episode from last week, Ayan said, I didn't want to jump in. Like, I felt like Lesa was wrong in the argument with Talene, but I wasn't going to call out my friend in front of everybody and say that. And like,
right.
That's what friends like do. Like, I'll tell you in private that I thought you went a little bit too hard, but like in the moment, I'm going to ride for you. Right. And I don't see any issue with that. And so when who was it? Was it Caroline and Talene said like you're different when she's not around? I don't necessarily see her being different when she's not around. Like maybe she is lighter, like, but I feel like she's just being like a good friend or a friend, similar to how Talene felt she was jumping in for Brooks. Like Chanel does the same for Lesa, and I feel Lesa does the same for Ayan. Like I didn't like. Chanel said she feels like the relationship was one-sided as well. Like I don't see that. And so it was strange, and it feels like it's an off-camera issue that they're not fully saying. And it is hard for me to see Chanel being controlled. Like Brooks was like, Lisa's the puppet. And Chanel seems like to have pretty good autonomy of herself. So Lesa telling her what to say and what to do, like, I don't fully buy that. Maybe I like, it's hard for me to reconcile. And I walked away from this episode being like, how is this the fight? Like, how is I thought the fight with the voice notes would have been like, that to me was more damning of like, you shared a message privately to someone else. Like that to me is more of a thing than braggy and calling me a liar. Like I don't, in a game of telephone, but like that doesn't make any sense.
But Chanel got mad. And she's at Lesa about the voice note because Lesa called her out in front of everybody. And she said she wouldn't do that. And again, which again, not logical. She's wrong in this situation. But again, that's what she gets mad here about. She's like, there's a point at the end where she's like, how dare you call me that and talk about me like that in front of Taj, my son. So she really is big on this whole thing of, if you thought I was lying about the bragging, we should have just had this conversation. But there's also behind closed doors, but there's also a point where Lesa goes, and that's what I was shocked to. I mean, granted, Chanel did try to pull her away privately, but it was still on camera. But Lesa literally says, you can see her. You can see her like biting her tongue, like, and I think she says, I thought we agreed to not do this like this.
Yeah, she does say that. Yeah.
And Chanel was turning against her. So it's kind of like you're being a bit of a hypocrite for what you got mad at Lesa for. And it sounds like y'all came to agreement of like, okay, moving forward, this is how we're going to be. And Chanel broke that. And I think, and partly because maybe she doesn't like the fact that the women are talking about her in that way. Maybe she's tired of it going on for a second season. And so she felt like she wanted to, I don't know, redeem her name. I don't know, redeem herself. I don't know.
The motivation behind it is a little strange. And it's also I like her and Caroline Stanberry being friends this season. It was actually a lot more enjoyable to watch them being friends, and it was fun, all the things. I don't understand Lisa's jealousy behind it. And I don't understand Lisa's jealousy or anger towards Stanberry. However, if that's your best friend, like, you're needling her by sitting in a throne asking Lesa to kiss your hands when she enters. You know you're needling her by doing the video. Like, you know you're doing things to get under her skin. And then to be surprised when there's a reaction, which granted, Lesa should just let it roll off. But like, you know your friend well enough to know like these, and Chanel said in the moment, like, I know this is annoying her. I know she's upset about it. So like, why do you continue to like poke at her? Because eventually you're going to get a reaction you're not happy with. And that's what happened. But like, yeah, like I don't know. And it's sad to know that it continued on for all these months later.
Yeah.
How has it been like, because that was last summer, so over a year ago. So they're still like not speaking, talking poorly about each other online. And a real life friendship over a stupid on camera fight. Like it's hard to reconcile. Like, this was what it was, especially because we had the buildup of them not being friends, and this feels so like minimal.
Right. This is what we were waiting for. And and we know that they didn't reconcile at the reunion. So it's like, to me, I would think you would watch this back and reconcile and to get those cards at the end where it said Lesa has reached out multiple times and Chanel refuses. And then Chanel's like, oh, well, Lesa hasn't,
apologized.
She's going to have to apologize to me. It's like, well, it sounds like she's trying to.
Like, you haven't picked up the phone, girl.
It just sounds like she just doesn't want to be her friend. I mean, I am not a Lesa type friend, but I do have friends like Lesa who don't want you to have new friends and become jealous if you become friends. More so if you become friends with their friend, right? Who like I introduce you, Chelsea, to a friend, and then y'all start hanging out without me. I have friends that if they were me would be jealous of it. I'm not like that. Yeah. But Lisa's a jealous friend and protective. And the worst thing that you could do with a friend who's like that is be friends with someone she doesn't like. So that is where we are.
And put it in her face. And put it in her face.
The reunion does look really good. The things that they seem to be sharing, it seems like we get some new information there. So I'm very excited about that. Looking forward to it. But yeah, Dubai overall has been a good season. It seems like they'll get a season 3. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but I feel like it has for some reason. So
it hasn't, but it definitely is warranted. I actually really do like Talene. I thought she was a great addition to this cast. I think we could go without, who is it? Is it Sarah? I think we could go without Sarah.
No, we could let Sarah go. I'm not even going to touch on the stuff she brought up.
But I am happy with all the other women, even though Brooks is like Looney Tunes, but she brings some quality entertainment.
But we need her.
Yeah.
We need her. When Sarah summed up what was going on, I was like, next. I don't believe a word of that. Like, we got to let it go.
and to Nina, I was like, Sarah and Nina, like, why did we bring Nina back for this? I didn't need it.
True. It's not true. Anyways, I have enjoyed it. You've enjoyed it. I think most people have. Guys, I hope you do support Dubai so we get another season out there. This isn't one of those things we want to see, franchises we want to see go away. So let everybody know that. All right, guys, that is it for us here on Morally Corrupt. Have a safe day, a weekend, and we will see you same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Bye.